Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Growfolds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at the Lowe's off of Highway 121 in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting that like button and also following me on Instagram at Growfolds. That's the fastest way to get in touch with me, as well as subscribing to the YouTube channel for daily 1-hour plant shopping videos. But as you guys can see here, it is early evening, late afternoon, and I decided to go ahead and check out this Lowe's. I often go to this Lowe's just to see if they have restocks, and you know, I've talked about this in all of my other plant shopping videos, especially big box stores. You never know what plants you're gonna run into, so I figured I'd take a gander and take a look at what plants we have at this location. As you can see right here, we've got a lot of beautiful Croton petras. I really like Croton petras. They're in a plant that is a little bit more finicky. I always recommend growing Crotons though outdoors. They have beautiful variegation, beautiful colors. Their coloration is actually influenced by the amount of light you give it. It is a plant that's marketed to be grown indoors, but honestly, the best way to grow them is outdoors. They're really meant to be a tropical shrub in tropical areas of the world. So I would say if you're able to grow a Croton petra, and this one's only for $19.98, I would go ahead and just plan to grow them outdoors. I currently have a Croton magnificum that is growing out in south-facing area of my front lawn in full sun. It gets about 7 to 8 hours of direct sunlight, and it is doing extremely well. And then over here, as I pan over, you can see that they've got a bunch of cool looking Calathea in containers, and you can see that I am taking a little bit of time to showcase some of the plants that you often see outside of a big box store before actually going into the outdoor section, and as well as the indoor houseplant area. I will be featuring more of the outdoor area today as well as indoor, but that will be on the later part of the video, just because I want to really diversify the plants that I showcase on this channel. For those that are new to this channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome to the channel, and if you are currently watching this video and during a live premiere, please say hello on the live premiere chat. As always, I appreciate every single one of you that have chosen to spend your evenings during the live premiere to chat with me, to interact with other plant foldies. It is a growing community that is welcoming to anybody who wants to talk about plants. But as you can see here, I passed by a bunch of those Costa Farm plants. So we saw a bunch of hibiscus, and we've seen a lot of these mandevilla flowers. And a lot of the mandevilla flowers now at big box stores are currently blooming. So I find them absolutely stunning. I love the white mandevilla flowers. I feel like, you know, white flowers, there is just a certain elegance about it. I talk about that in all of my videos, but, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comment section about what, you know, flower colors you like. I also like these hibiscus. My family is originally from the Philippines, and in the Philippines we call hibiscus gomamela. Really like the look of that. And you know, in tropical areas, especially for hibiscus, they like to be in full sun. They prefer humidity. They definitely don't want to dry out. They're a very thirsty plant, so just make sure you are watering your hibiscus. Now, in terms of a plant that you want to be cautious about watering, that would be roses. I love roses. They love the heat, and me being based out in North Dallas, where the summers are like 100+ degree weather, roses can grow well in those hotter conditions. The only thing is, when you are watering a rose, you never really want to water the rose and get the leaves wet or the blooms. That will actually encourage fungus or yellow diseases, black fungus disease. You really want to water roses at the base. So if you have a sprinkler system, it's really best to not use that on roses. Now, as I walk over here again, look at these beautiful mandevilla flowers. Now you've got a combination of pink, red, and white, and I love how this little corridor of just all of these hanging baskets of mandevilla just gives you this like tropical vibe. I don't have any mandevillas just because I've never really attempted to grow mandevillas. From my understanding, they need full sun, but they also need to be watered frequently. They don't really want to dry out. They are also susceptible to spider mites. I've seen like really underwatered mandevilla flowers or mandevilla bushes, or however you want to classify them, having yellowing on the leaves, and I've noticed that it's because of spider mites. And notice that this is a Proven Winners container hanging basket, so you've got some trailing coleus plants, and check this view out. What do you think of all the beautiful mandevilla flowers right here? So we've got a combination of different types of pinks, Really nice looking flower. I would consider mandevilla flowers obviously and more of a summer blooming flowers. You know, there is a lot of flowers that I really appreciate. I love azaleas, but typically azaleas grow more so in the spring. Now that summer is about to approach, you can see that we've got a lot of these tropical blooming flowers. Mandevillas are awesome. I am curious though, plant foldies, if you grow mandevillas, have you grown them indoors or do they really need to be outdoors in full sun? As always, I love to hear from you guys. So any kind of comments that you could leave in the comment section, I read every single one of them and I will reply to you guys. And then also, if you want to ask me any questions directly, you can also send me a direct message on Instagram at GrowFolds. I'm really trying to grow the GrowFolds Instagram. I know I've talked about creating a Facebook account, but the thing about it is if I make a Facebook account for the GrowFolds community, I just want to make sure I have time to really optimize it and make sure that the right parameters are there. I really want to make it more so of a members join versus just a public Facebook, so we have a little bit of control about what type of content, what type of followers we get, because I want to make sure that our community at GrowFolds remains to be a positive one that really is about educating each other and just really supporting each other, encouraging each other to be better plant parents. But you can see right here, I am taking a little bit of time on these mandevilla flowers. I absolutely love them. And you know, I filmed this on the day where Dallas had some really strong winds, some potential tornadoes that hit Dallas. As I was driving around to film, I did see a bunch of neighborhoods all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or the Dallas metropolitan area, specifically in Plano and Richardson, where there was just a bunch of broken limbs on trees. Again, I am thankful that I am doing okay, that I am safe, because there were some people that were less fortunate than me. And hopefully for the local plant foldies that watch my channel, I hope you guys are safe. And I hope that you can find some joy and some relaxation on this plant content. But as you can see here, we've got a crassula. ET fingers, really cool crassula, or what you would call a jade plant. So I didn't realize that there were many varieties of jade plant. You know, as a kid, I grew up, my grandmother was growing jade plants, so I was always exposed to jade plants, but typically I would just find the regular green jade plant. And then as I did some more plant shopping videos, I was really exposed to it. Beautiful succulent. It's a succulent that I would definitely add to my collection. As compared to a lot of the other succulents, I'm still learning a lot about it. And then right over here, this is an Opuntia Goblin for $9.98. You know, when you go to Lowe's or any big box store, I always say big box stores really do have cost-effective pricing. You know, there is a double-edged sword when it comes to like big box store plant shopping. Some people might think that I am, you know, saying negative things about big box stores. It's not that. It's just that if you buy a big box store, the care for the big box store plants may not always meet maybe a plant enthusiast's expectations as compared to like a local plant nursery. So just know that you have to be cautious about buying big box store plants. Assume that there may be potential pests even at a local plant nursery. But if you do buy a big box store plant, make sure that when you take it home, you quarantine it away from your current plant collection, and then also take a neem oil spray or some type of insecticidal soap spray, and make sure that you spray it down completely. You just want to make sure that you are mitigating as many potential hitchhiker pests that you could find at a big box store. But as you can see here, beautiful mandevilla flowers. I would love to just have an alleyway full of these trailing flowers. They kind of remind me of like bougainvillea flowers. You know, when you ever see like bougainvilleas just trailing and having walls and walls of beautiful blooms, that is awesome. And then we also have some containers right here of just white vinca flowers, but look at how beautiful those flowers are. Now, if you find these flowers beautiful, please hit the like button on my video. I do often ask that you guys hit the like button on my videos, just because it really does help with the YouTube engagement, as well as just getting this content pushed out to more plant lovers like yourself, myself, and it just really increases our subscriber count. Currently, we are now at 9,555 subscribers, so we are getting close to the 10,000 mark. So if you know anybody who likes plant shopping videos, or just wants to be part of a community where we can chat for about an hour during a live premiere chat, please share my videos, please share my channel. And if you are somebody that's watching my videos but haven't necessarily subscribed, please make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button, and also the notification bell on, because although I try to premiere all of my videos around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time daily, sometimes life gets in the way and I'm not always able to schedule that premiere. I do try to get a premiere up every single day, but with the notification bell, you'll know when I upload a new post, a new poll, a new shorts video, which is what I've been doing as of late, and obviously our main event, which is our live premiere. But as you've seen here, I panned out a lot of these beautiful vinca flowers, and then right over here is a gorgeous looking sun patient. So it's a beautiful sun patient. Love that it has darker foliage, and for those that have been following my videos for the last 5 months, you already know I love dark foliage plants. I think they're stunning. They're very classy. And then also we've got a hanging basket of lantana right here. What I love about lantana is that lantana are actually very easy to care for plants. They can tolerate really hot conditions. And with Texas, as I'm doing this voiceover, I did a lot of plant shopping videos today. So you guys will actually be super surprised about what plants I found today at a local grocery store. So stay tuned for that video tomorrow. But it was really hot. It was in the 98 degrees, and considering we just had a really crazy storm, lots of flooding, it's just amazing how all of that dried up within 24 hours, and it's been super hot. So like flowers like lantana really do well in my grow zone, and that is 8B. So that's the thing, as we are looking at these plants like this firebush lime sizzler, I love this. Look at that yellow variegation, and it has green variegation as well. This one is not a bad price at all for $19.98. Really nice looking bush right here. I would actually consider putting that in my landscape. Now this one can take full sun as well. I'm just curious to see if it actually can tolerate, 100-degree weather. I often talk about my climate because I have been talking about a lot of these outdoor plants. Obviously, my heart is always going to be within the indoor tropical plant, but I share this passion where any type of plant will bring me joy, whether it's, bonsai, Japanese maples, outdoor landscaping, indoor tropical plants, bushes like this with beautiful coloration. I'm all for it. But plant foliage, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this firebush lime sizzler. Do you grow it? What would you do with that? What kind of color combinations would you do? So as I do all of my plant shopping videos, I will ask you guys questions, and hopefully you guys will engage not only in the live premiere chats, but also leave in the comments. And then this is some purslane plants right here. So what I learned about this plant is it actually is edible. It's considered a superfood. Again, do your research before you go eating a whole hanging basket full of purslane, but that's what I was told. And you can check out right here. This is for $12.98, although right now those vinca hanging baskets are 2 for $20, so they're $10 each. And then I wanted to show you this. So this is a flower that I just recently saw this year. These are Celosa flowers. These are for only $1.98. This one actually takes full sun. What I like about it is the flowers look more like feathers or some type of texture, maybe even like a duster, I don't know, but it's a really cool looking texture for a flower. And then right over here, these are more sun patient. So impatiens are flowers that have to be grown in the shade, but these sun patients are basically impatiens, and these are only for $10.98 that you can grow in full sun. So that's the thing about certain plants and how, botanists have really hybridized certain plants for a specific gene. So, most plants may not be as tolerant, for instance, in, full sun, but like sun patients are an example of how they've selectively bred a specific flower gene, and then it just kind of passed on. It's kind of like with coleus plants. I've talked about coleus plants, where most coleus plants need to be in shade, but now they have some coleus that can take full sun. So it is just exciting as more people have gotten into plants, as more people have grown to love plants. More interest means more plants are being currently developed. And this one right here is a canna lily. I thought it was a banana plant, but it is canna lily. And this one is a beautiful burgundy dark color here. What a gorgeous plant that is. And again, dark foliage plants, I always have a soft spot for them. I just feel like there is a certain elegance about them. If you can imagine planting a dark foliage plant, like maybe a raven zizi in just like a matte white planter, it just really brings out the plants. And I will talk about plant styling at some point. You know, I always talk about the things that I want to do. It's just a matter of getting that content out there. So just bear with me. I did spend a little bit of time today really potting up my plants, really taking some time to spray them down with my neem oil. I watered them, and you know, in the last couple of episodes of my videos, I did talk about how I've neglected some of my plants by just not watering them, you know, not really taking the time to take care of them. So I did that. I felt productive. I was able to get 3 hours worth of filming today as well. I happened to get this extra day off. So I would like to be able to schedule these plant premieres for you guys. And if you notice that I have been uploading really long, 3.5 hour long marathons, those are all scheduled for later June. So plant foldies, if you see that, what I would suggest is just hitting the notification bell on so it notifies you when it goes premiere. For those that don't know, I will be taking an 18-day vacation to my home country, which is the Philippines. So I will really not have enough time to really edit videos. I will definitely film many plant shopping videos, but I don't really want to take 5 hours each day to edit a video. And that's really the average time it takes to create a video, from filming it, from putting the plant subtitles, from doing the voiceover, from saving it, and then currently uploading it. So I do want to, you know, be prepared for that. And I want to make sure that I still give you guys daily content. It's a personal goal of mine. And that's the reason why I go to these big box stores. And while you might see the same plants and maybe I talk about the same plant characteristics, I'm just still amazed and thankful that you guys still show up for me day in and day out and engage with me on my plant content. I really appreciate that. And then what I also think about is just how this particular Lowe's has a way of really getting plants restocked. And if they don't get it restocked, at least a specific Lowe's has a way of merchandising their plants. I mean, every single Lowe's I've gone into though, I've seen this little fixture with beautiful mandevilla flowers. I just love the white. I think that's my favorite color on mandevilla flowers. And how can you miss these beautiful containers of cordyline Hawaiian tea plant? I really like the look of that cordyline Hawaiian tea plant as well. I've noticed that it has some beautiful coloration as well. Now I've walked into this Lowe's right here. So typically Lowe's has like a little section at the very beginning of the entrance where they feature a bunch of Costa Farms plants and just large foliage plants. So we're gonna just take a look at what they have. You know, they still have their Memorial Weekend decoration. So I think those are kind of cute. But you can see right here, we've got some Phalaenopsis orchids from Costa Farms. We've got some anthuriums here, some blooming anthuriums from Costa Farms. These are just the traditional red blooming ones. I do like anthuriums, and this one is for $14.98. I like the anthuriums, not necessarily for the blooms, but more so for the leaves. I love that nice, shiny, triangular arrow leaf shape of the anthuriums, and they can get very large. They're pretty vigorous in growth as well. And then I've been getting into bromeliads, or at least admiring bromeliads. You know, when I first started doing plant shopping videos, I would always say, and this one's only for $10.98 in a terracotta planter. That's a plus for me. Love terracotta planters. But I would always say, what is the deal with bromeliads? I can see why there's, you know, a lot of bromeliads, because they do have some beautiful colors. I found that my bromelia that I bought for $2.45 on clearance at a grocery store called Kroger, super easy to take care of. And that's the thing, plant foldies. You already know that I will always be at some type of big box store, some type of plant nursery, and I will always try to get you some of the plant pricing. Now, maybe the plant pricing might be a little bit different as compared to maybe other parts of the country, but at least if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you'll get the pricing that is currently in the market. But you can see here, beautiful sago palm, love that. And then I also love these Alocasia Regal Shields in self-watering planters, not from Costa Farms, but from Live Trends. So Live Trends has actually just really stepped up their game. They've really been doing a lot of self-watering planters. I do think self-watering planters are more beneficial for the average person that takes care of plants. For me specifically, self-watering planters are easy because then I don't have to worry so much about whether I need to water the plant or not. There is a wick that pulls up the water and feeds the soil. So that's you know, a plus for it, especially for somebody like me who is an underwaterer. And what that means is I don't really water my plants as often as I should. There's another term where you're an overwaterer, where basically you just keep watering your plants more so than they need to, and you keep your soil wet. That you know, keeps, you know, plants from getting, some plants will end up getting root rot by being on overwater, but an underwater will also make the plant suffer health-wise, and that's when you get like plant pests like spider mites. But you can see here lots of beautiful large foliage plants. So we've got a white bird of paradise here. I would love to grow a white bird of paradise, but I don't really have tall ceilings for my home. You know, whenever I think of like dark, like not dark foliage plants, but like large foliage plants, and this one is only for that price. That's not a bad price at all for a white bird of paradise. But I always think about like the space constraints I have and how the plants need to be more curated in the way they are styled versus just throwing a bunch of plants together. And then I was actually curious. I use this Miracle-Gro Shake and Feed fertilizer that I mix in my soil. Does anybody else use that? Because I find that pretty effective in terms of just boosting the nutrients in your plant's soil. So let me know in the comments if you use that Miracle-Gro Shake and Feed. I usually buy that at Costco. I feel like that's a better deal when I buy it at Costco. I pay less for that, but one thing I want to invest in is actually getting more Osmocote as well, because Osmocote has been a really good slow release fertilizer. And right over here, we've got some beautiful Monstera deliciosas. Love those as well. Those are for $24.97. And then you can see here, these are some Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. Beautiful plant. I'm so surprised. And this is only for $24.98 by Costa Farms. There's several Ficus lyrata here, maybe 3 plants. But I'm so surprised that I've been able to grow my Ficus lyrata and it hasn't been so finicky. I just grow it under a grow light. It's right next to an east-facing window, and I water it every week and a half. I let the soil dry out completely, and then I bottom water it. And then you can see here are some more Phalaenopsis orchids. Love the look of Phalaenopsis orchids. I always find their blooms to be many different types of faces. It's amazing how the intricacies of a Phalaenopsis orchid, there's just so many varieties. And now I'm going to be walking over to the lawn and garden area. So as you can see here, this Lowe's doesn't have like another outdoor greenhouse section for their indoor house plants. So we're just gonna walk by here. I'm actually just gonna pan over. I'm gonna go ahead and go on the outdoor section in just a bit, but I did want to pan over here and just show you what plants that they have. So they have a couple of shelves for some of the overage of plants, and you can see that they've got this area nice and organized. Really love this about this particular Lowe's. Often this Lowe's actually gets restocked, but I can tell that they may not necessarily be restocked with a lot of new plants. There might be a couple of new plants here, but as you can see, lots of large foliage plants. We've got a bunch of Ficus lyrata, bird of paradise. We've got some Dieffenbachia right here, and just other large foliage plants. So I really like that a lot, and it's pretty organized. So let me know, plant foliage, what you think of this arrangement. For now, I'm gonna go walk outside though and just kind of see what else that they have. So I'm just gonna do a quick walk around here and show you guys some of the plants that they have in this outdoor section. The reason why I wanted to go in the outdoor section again is because it is getting dark and there's not gonna be as much light. So I wanted to capture what I could capture, and you can see this is just a full forest full of different types of fern, Boston fern. For some reason, you know, spring, late spring, early summer, we've just got a ton of ferns. Now, fern plants are not necessarily a plant that I gravitate to want to add into my collection. Some people might be into it. I'm not necessarily into it just because I feel like ferns need to be watered often. They need to keep their soil moist, and I just really am not the type of person to water my plants often. I probably should, because that is really the basic necessity of plant care. So I will definitely do better with that. I am proud of myself that I was able to do some plant chores, so we'll see what that looks like, because I am preparing to try and do a house plant tour of my plants. I do have quite a bit of plants. There's a lot of philodendron that I have not really shared on my YouTube channel that I would love to share with you guys. But as you can see here, really like the organization of Lowe's. They have all of these tables for each different type of plant, brand names. So we've got Southern Living, we've got, you know, Knockout Roses, encore azaleas. So there's just a lot to pick from. And if you're gonna ask me, I love encore azaleas just because azaleas really hold a special place in my heart because they are used for Japanese gardens, and I love Japanese gardens. That's something that I am trying to grow toward in my backyard. But you can see here, this is a full table of just knockout roses. So knockout roses are an easy to care for rose. It's actually more disease resistant, and they bloom a little bit more so than the typical rose. And then you got some hedge foundation type shrubs, and then we've got accent shrubs here. So these are accent shrubs that you can use for like your landscapes, just because they become more of like a focal point. And I did want to just highlight one of these shrubs. I have one of these. These are a Nandina, and this one has more of a neon color around it. I actually bought a Nandina from Lowe's, and it's taken about 2 years for it to really establish. What I like about Nandina is it has that neon color, but in the fall and winter, it becomes a nice red, fiery red bush, and I think that's so awesome. See, there are just rows and rows of Nandina, and then we also have some ground cover of juniper right over there. I like the color of that, neon colors, neon yellows, neon greens. Those are the kind of plants I like as well. And you can see that they just have many different types of trees, shrubs, and that's the thing about Lowe's. I will give Lowe's credit. I mean, Lowe's and Home Depot, they are kind of a tie. Home Depot typically has more proven winter plants. I don't ever see proven winter plants at Lowe's, but Lowe's sometimes will beat Home Depot in sense of they have a lot more Costa Farms plants. So it just really depends on what you're looking for. Now for outdoor plants, Home Depot and Lowe's are pretty much tied. They pretty much have the same plants available. And you can even see here, this Lowe's has some overage on a bunch of plants. So in this section right here, we've got a bunch of sun patience. So sun patience again, and these are for $10.97. I like this particular sun patient because look at the foliage, look at the colors of the leaf. It has like a light variegated middle. We've got green borders, red stems, and in a red vein. So these are for $10.98. I apologize about the incorrect pricing. And then it also has a red flower. So lots going on with this particular sun patient. Again, this is an impatient flower that can grow in full sun. Normally impatiens are the ones that only need to be in shade. So it's just super cool that they've been able to get a beautiful foliage plant out of that. So it's all that hybridizing and breeding by these botanists that come up with these new hybrids. So it's always exciting. I would say that petunias specifically have a lot of different hybrids that have come out in the market. And you can see these are a bunch of these clearance plants. So we've got a potato vine right over here. I like how this particular potato vine has like green new growth, but then it just bronzes up. I always like that new coloration when it comes down to a new leaf that unfurls. But there's not really a lot to look at on all those clearance plants. I always call clearance plants rescue me plants. But, you know, whenever you buy a clearance plant from a big box store, just know that that plant probably has a lot of rehabbing you have to do. Just know that it's probably going to harbor some plant pests, so you've really got to put a lot of effort into clearance plants. You know, sometimes I balance out whether it's really worth to take a clearance plant because of all of the risk of you know, plant pests and just the amount of effort you need to do. But then on the other side, I also believe that we should rescue clearance plants because they just didn't have a chance to find a home. So I'm really debating about that. Now, plant foldies, do you find that, you know, would you buy a clearance plant or do you steer away from clearance plants? Leave that in the comments. I really do want to hear from what you guys have to say. As I walk around this Lowe's, it's, you know, starting to get a little bit dark. It's about 8:45 as I'm filming this, and it's starting to get dark, but there's still enough light to where I can showcase some of these plants. One of my favorite plants to always show in my videos, and that is a variegated bougainvillea. This is for $26.98, and these are specifically plants that are grown for Texas landscapes, Texas climates. Now with the variegated bougainvillea, this is a raspberry ice. This one unfortunately cannot be put into the landscape to grow long term. You would really need to grow this in a container. That way you can take it indoors to overwinterize. Otherwise, it will not last. I've tried to grow bougainvillea in the ground, but we just get really cold winters and really intense frost. freezes. So that way it's just not a plant that I would consider a perennial in my grow zone, which is 8B. But as you can see right over here, we've got some more like mixed container plants. I do love the look of this. So these are New Guinea impatiens. And what I like about this New Guinea impatient is look at the dark foliage again. It's got a shiny satin finish. This one is for $19.98. So what you need to do is if you're going to buy this mixed planter, you just have to repot it in another planter that's slightly bigger, maybe an inch or two larger in diameter, and you've got a container plant that can be grown. If it's a New Guinea impatient, this one would need to be in more of a shaded area. Love that dark foliage. Plant foliage, let me know if you like dark plants, purple plants, black plants. I am just obsessed with them. Like even like a really dark philodendron pink princess is something that I like to look at. And obviously just dark plants, just there's something about them. But anyhow, I am going to go walk over here and check out these assorted succulents and cacti. Now for the ones that have been watching my videos, I have really attempted to show you more succulents and cactus. Now this may not be for everybody. I know plant foliage, not all of you guys like succulents and cacti, but I wanted to just show these for the ones that actually appreciate it. I'm thinking about getting more succulents in my plant collection. Obviously Aeoniums, I ended up killing my Aeonium kiwi that I bought from Lowe's, but that's really because I put it in direct sun and also watered it from the top. So I don't know if it just burned it or what happened, but I'll know better next time to, number one, like not put succulents in full sun. I just thought that, all succulents are kind of desertish in, desert environments. That is not necessarily the case. So, I learned from that. And that's the thing about plants and just plant keeping. It's all about your experiences and what you learn from it. Here are some coral bells. This one's a coral bell mulberry. Beautiful. Coral bell, dark foliage. Love that gray tone. It just really looks like a gothic plant. These ones are by Monstera. So Monstera has some really nice selections of plants. I would say Monstera plants are slightly pricey, but they are pretty healthy and just nice varieties that they offer at big box stores. You can see right here, this is a beautiful Triscanthia. I really like this one, just the white striping. This is an easy plant to also propagate. Literally, you can take a small cutting of that, stick it in water, and it will root. I have been able to propagate those before. Here are some more coral bells. These are coral bells electric line by Monstera. Again, look at how beautiful that neon green yellow coloration is, and then this one is for $11.98. So with coral bells do better in more of like shaded areas. Now I don't know about these Monstera coral bells. They might be able to take full sun, but these typically are plants that you want to grow in more of a shaded area. That neon electric lime would be a perfect one to just light up a darker space. And then this one is a coral bells carnival rose. Look at that, and look at how it is blooming. Beautiful coral bell. I wish I could grow coral bells indoors, but I have just done a lot of research, and it's really a plant that is meant to really grow outdoors. It would definitely get spider mites very quickly unless you are just literally spraying it down. But I always think about plants, like plants, again, plant keeping should always be one that brings you joy, not brings you extra chores. Like obviously there's plant care that is involved with taking care of plants, but actually spending way too much time just trying to prevent plants and trying to keep them healthy indoors is not always the best case. And so if you take a plant like this is coral bells Georgia peach, beautiful looking plant. Like I would love to be able to grow these indoors successfully, but after doing research, I don't really want to put myself through having to keep up with that. Now as far as some of my plant shopping videos, I have been experimenting on potential plants, specifically ground cover, that I would consider taking indoors to grow in as a house plant. Like some people have actually taken potato vines like this. Look at this beautiful neon one in a hanging basket. Have been able to grow these indoors, but the thing is with potato vines, when I've grown them indoors, they end up getting spider mites. They do need full sun to really do well. So like I would just think in terms of a growing a potato vine, you would either need to put it next to a south-facing window or a west-facing window in order for it to really get a lot of that sun and that light. So it's just interesting how certain plants really require a little bit more care when brought indoors. Now this Waikiki sunset lychee Lysimachia. I think I've actually thought about maybe growing this in a container and possibly growing these indoors. These are by Proven Winners for $6.98. What I like about this is it does have some really cool green on green, green on yellow variegation. And as a bonus, it actually has yellow flowers. I would just have to really do my research to see if I would grow this. Obviously, all of these ground cover plants are going to be more of like these trailing plants that I would grow indoors. So that's the thing, plant foldies. I have been really thinking about growing a bunch of these ground cover plants indoors. I really want to try to grow plants that are a little bit more unconventional indoors versus like getting the typical like pothos plant, fiddle fig leaf, sansevieria, aglaonema, syngoniums, monsteras. Like I'm trying to steer away a little bit from that and trying to bring in some other plants that might be of interest. So, stay tuned for that. Obviously, for those that continue to watch my plant shopping videos daily, super appreciate that. Know that I'm going to get you guys some more content daily. I'm trying my best. I am always trying to like film some plants. And again, while I do show you guys a lot of the same plants on a daily basis, I just feel like it's a nice little social gathering we have during the live premiere. So really appreciate that. And then over here, potato vines. This one's for $4.98. Love that dark foliage plant here. And what's interesting is with these potato vines, you can eat the foliage. Now these are more on the ornamental side, but you can eat those. Use caution and do research first, just to make sure that they are not poisonous or toxic. But I've seen and heard people eat that. And then also these are probably my favorite potato vine. These are the variegated potato vines. I really love the look of this if I can just get it out. Notice how it's starting to trail. This one is also for $4.98. What I like about it is look at that pink variegation, that cream variegation, and then also just the light green. Beautiful plant. And for a variegated plant, this one needs full sun. So I love the fact that it will not burn. I love the fact that it's got pink. So there's just a lot of characteristics for this particular plant that makes it desirable for me. I actually bought one of these and I am currently growing it outdoors in a container out in full sun, and it is growing rapidly, and I really like that. I plan on taking cuttings and propagating more because potato vine plants easily root in water. And you can see here we've got more plants. It's starting to get a little bit dark, so some of the lighting may not be the best, but hopefully plant foliage, you are still seeing the beauty of these plants. One plant that I absolutely love, and these are the Rodeo oyster plants. What I love about it is look at that pink coloration, the purple undersides. These are for $4.98. Sometimes I will see this actually being sold as an indoor plant at a big box store, but these are in the outdoor section. So it's just interesting how certain plants are considered like indoor or outdoor plants. I would say this is more of an outdoor plant that can be grown indoors. I have two of these now. I've bought these pink plants. I love pink plants. And this Rodeo oyster plant has done very well for me. I've actually been growing it out in full sun, and it's been getting some amazing pink coloration. So I'm not sure if you get more pink by giving it more light, but you can see these are plants that, may be considered more of like a ground cover, more of like an outdoor plant, but people have been successfully able to grow these indoors. Now with this plant, it's probably easier to grow that outdoors, and I just love the color that it provides. And then obviously look at all of this dark foliage that we have here, these beautiful potato vines. I love how it's got that bronze chocolate look, purple look, and over here as I pan over, more ground cover. And then we have some more coral bells right here. I haven't really grown coral bells. I've grown them in the past, but in terms of just growing them this year, I don't think I'm going to be growing any coral bells. I do like how this has like a very nice look when the light hits it. It's got this like fiery red tone about it. And with coral bells, I just really wish we could grow those indoors successfully. Maybe some of you guys have tried it. I am not going to try it because I've already killed a lot of plants this year. And then we've got some Tradescanthia zebrinas right over here. These are for $4.98. Yep, that is for $4.98. So these are considered ground cover as well, but people grow them as indoor plants. The only problem I have with this specific Tradescanthia is it gets very leggy very quickly. So again, you want to make sure that you are cutting it back. That way it will stay a little bit more full. It actually promotes more growth when you cut it back. So lots of Tradescanthia here, lots of Tradescanthia zebrina. So plant folies, let me know if you actually grow them. And then we've got some golden dewdrops or some Duranta plants. Look at that neon variegation as well. Makes another ground cover. This is for $4.98. And I would just be curious to see if anybody's really attempting to grow these plants indoors. Again, all plants that are outdoors can be grown indoors. It just depends on the amount of light you give it, and also just the care for it. And as you can see right over here, these are some flax lilies. So I love the look of flax lilies just because they are number one for only $19.98. That's not a bad price at all. And then it just has some beautiful cream and white variegation. I am a sucker for, you know, the cream and white variegation. And then I'm also a sucker for any dark foliage plants and pink plants. So one of my favorite plants to grow, this is a variegated boat lily for $8.98. I bought one of these. Mine is doing extremely well. Mine actually had a shoot that broke off, but I took several cuttings and I am currently rooting them in water. So hopefully I can get another variegated boat lily. Now with variegated boat lily, I am actually growing that in full sun. And since I am growing them in full sun, I'm getting more pink versus just the purple tone for it. So purple plants, dark plants, they are the best. And then over here, we've got some variegated ginger. So I love the look of variegated ginger. Unfortunately, I'm not able to really grow that indoors. That's another plant I've attempted in the past, and it just ends up getting spider mites. Same thing with cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. I love it. You see it everywhere, but that is a plant that will also get spider mites when grown indoors, or at least it's more susceptible. Now, some people might actually get away with, you know, growing plants that are a little bit more challenging. These Japanese Aralia are also able to be grown indoors. I have yet to try to grow one of those. I do have the camouflage one, and it is absolutely stunning. But as you can see here, plant foliage, we got a lot of these hanging baskets of spider plants. Now these spider plants have little babies and it's actually in bloom. So I just like how it has shoots. So there are obviously different varieties of spider plants. I know some of you plant folies have asked me to show you some more spider plants. So here we go. And it's cool that it has a lot of these little babies coming out. And then this fern, this is a Japanese holly fern. And I like the look of this as well. This one is for $6.98. So we've got a lot of different types of fern. Now, all of these fern, I would say, would be able to be grown indoors as well. Same thing with those caladiums that I just panned over, but all of these cordyline plants, like look at that. Look at how dark that foliage is. It looks super cool, but we've got a bunch of caladiums. So it is caladium season. You know, caladiums start to really come out late spring, summer. They like the heat. They like higher humidity. They are native to Brazil, and they just have so many different varieties. Like, take a look at this. This is for $7.98. Like, you can purchase this and repot it in a planter and have a caladium. The thing about caladiums is if you're going to grow them, just know that in the winter time, or when it starts to get cold and the days get shorter, these caladiums will go dormant. I have yet to really hear about anybody that's been able to keep a caladium active. They are similar to alocasia. I always look at caladiums as a more colorful alocasia. And that's just another plant that I like. I like it specifically because it gives me that pink foliage. I love that red. I love that, that ghostly white tone. So that's the reason why caladiums are a plus for me. Love them so much, and they're easy to get a hold of. Most big box stores, local nurseries will have them. Like, here's another one for $7.98. This is more of the strap leaf caladium. So this caladium has more like a narrow leaf shape. I really like the look of that as well. And it is getting pretty dark out here, but notice how the light foliage still illuminates. And I already know that I'm going to end up getting another Tradescanthia Nanook. Look at this restock of beautiful Tradescanthia Nanook. I love this Tradescanthia because it's got dark, it's got that pink foliage. This is for $4.98, but it's just a beautiful plant. It has beautiful purple undertones, and the growth is a little bit more compact. I feel like it doesn't get as leggy as quickly as like a Tradescanthia Sabrina. I love the fact that the leaves are a little bit longer or just larger. And so I'm going to pick one that's a little bit more full. And the cool thing about this Tradescanthia is if you cut it back, it will get even more compact and bushy. And this is a plant. I have two of them. I'll get a third one. I will have to trim back another one, but I have been growing them out in full sun and it has been doing amazing. So Beautiful plant. This plant used to be quite expensive about 3 to 4 years ago, and now it is readily available. It is almost, sold as just a ground cover, but it is a plant that if you like pink plants, and I think I'm going to take this one because look at how many shoots it has. Look at how beautiful the undertones of the leaves are. It is only for $4.98, but it is another plant that I would love to just grow in my collection. I am a huge fan of pink plants, pink variegation, purple plants, just that nice striping. It's just amazing. So plant folies, let me know if you like Tradescanthia nanuk. These are very easy to propagate and share. They are a vigorous grower. So there's just a lot of characteristics about this plant that makes me want to just continue to buy them. I really should just propagate them and get more free plants, but $4.98 is not that bad. I have been spending quite a bit of money on some of the plants. So as you can see, it's because I'm always at a big box store. Like I literally filmed 2 videos today, one at Walmart in the morning, and then obviously this one in the evening. But as you can see, I love Coleus plants. These ones are for $4.98. And now we're just going to walk back inside because it got a little too dark for me to really continue filming. So, I will be finishing off this plant shopping video at Lowe's here. But as you can see, it is around 9 now, a little bit past 9. And I'm just going to go see what plants that they have here. So Live Trans always has these cute little planters. Now these ones are like fruit ones. You can see we've got some air plants right over here. I don't have any type of air plant in my houseplant collection. It is one that I might consider getting, but I don't really see the allure for air plants. I always feel like they're just artificial plants, but you know what? There might be something that I am just missing in terms of that. And that's the thing, plant foldies. I don't know if you ever find yourself just more gravitating to a specific plant. For me, and I've said this in a lot of my videos, there's just certain characteristics. And like one characteristic would be plants that have a lot of beautiful coloration on the foliage, a plant that can tolerate lower light conditions if possible, a plant that can tolerate being underwater, doesn't need as much water, and a plant that can grow pretty fast and propagate easily. Those 5 characteristics, if a plant has at least 3 of the 5, I will consider buying it and adding it into my collection. So plant folies, let me know what characteristics you look for whenever you're growing plants. I know that whenever I go to Lowe's as well, I always like to look at the hanging baskets, and I'm always in admiration of all of the Phalaenopsis orchids that they have. Lowe's probably has some of the more diverse orchids that you will find. It only rivals Trader Joe's. I feel like Trader Joe's has some really nice orchids, and they have different species of orchids. But over here, we are seeing a bunch of these Phalaenopsis orchids, very common orchid. I was starting to see some variegated orchids popping up, but as we look at this plant shopping video, there are some interesting hanging baskets like this black rabbit's foot fern. Look at that. That's why you get that name, black rabbit's foot fern. Do you see those roots right over there? That is awesome, and this is for $20.84. A hanging basket by Costa Farms. Exotic Angels, love this as well. I've actually thought about getting a black rabbit's foot fern. If I were to buy or add a fern in my collection, I think that a black rabbit's foot fern would be one of the best candidates to add into my collection, or a bird's nest fern. So you can see right there though, what an interesting texture. It does kind of look like tarantula legs though. And then over here, wow, this is a silver band marantha. Super cool considering this plant used to be very uncommon. Now we've got a full lush hanging basket of silver band marantha. Gotta give Costa Farms props. They are able to really get some nice uncommon or even rare plants available into the regular market. I've talked about uncommon plants or plants that are a little bit harder to find. I will say that Costa Farms has really made an attempt to make them more accessible for just the average plant collector. And I like that, it does drive the prices down a little bit for some of the plant businesses. But in terms of just bringing people joy and happiness, I think it's a great thing that we can even find a silver band marantha in a full hanging basket. What a beautiful hanging basket. And, if I'm going to be nitpicky, there is a little bit of cosmetic damage, some browning on some of the leaves. But what you can do is actually just cut off those brown parts. But what a beautiful marantha. I actually got one at Callaway's for $2.99 that I'm going to actually grow in hydroponics. Like I am now going to just grow my prayer plants, my Calatheas, my maranthas, my stromanthe in more of a hydroponic situation, and that means I'm just growing them straight water versus putting them in like a soil substrate. And then this is another trade Scanthia. I always see at a big box store. I do find it beautiful. I like the texture of the leaves. It's got a velvety tone about it. And we've got some more of these urban jungle planters here. So sometimes I'll find some really cool urban jungle plants. I do like the look of this particular urban jungle plant. This is a beautiful pink syngonium. This one is for $14.98. And the thing about these urban jungle planters, I like to look at them because I have found some really unique alocasias. Sometimes you'll find some other plants like this, syngonium. It's a common one. It's a common pink one. Love syngoniums. It's one of my favorite plants to grow. The only thing I will say about syngoniums is make sure you are keeping up with the watering, because if you do underwater them, they don't do as well. They're not as tolerant as I thought they would be. Here is a plant that is a little bit more tolerant of being underwatered, and this is a Philodendron Hederaceum lemon lime. Love that yellow neon green foliage. The more light you give it, the better it's going to give you that more yellow tone to it. And then we've got some dracaenas over there. What else do we have here? So we have another beautiful urban jungle plant. This one is a Ficus elastica ruby. Beautiful plant. Now, in order for ruby to really get some better like red tone or red look about it, you want to provide this with a lot of light. I actually grow my Ficus elastica in full sun in a south facing section outside, and they do not burn. So they're doing very well for me. They are more vigorous when you grow them outside. And then as I pan away over here, you can see we've got some more trade Scanthias. We've got a bird's nest fern. We've got some hanging baskets. And then we also have a bunch of starter exotic angels, trending tropical plants or exotic angel plants. Now here we have a croton bush on fire. Love this croton. Notice how it's got that red leaf, yellow leaf, orange leaf. This one is for $5.98. I have been tempted to buy several exotic angel starter plants. I unfortunately ended up killing my China doll exotic angel plant that I bought at HEB. I did buy for $3.98 or something like that, so it wasn't that big of a loss. I was just disappointed, but again, I learned that that China doll plant actually needs to be watered a little bit more frequently. Here is a Belus ficus. So this is another type of ground cover plant that is being grown indoors. I do like the variegated portion of this. I've seen just the green version of this ficus. Now with all ficus, you do need to provide it with a lot of bright indirect light for it to really do well. And then what else do we have here? So we've got a Balfouriana Aralia, or variegated Aralia. Really like the look of this, and as it matures, it actually gets a trunk that's a little bit more woody. I do like that the white variegation is pretty stable as well. It is a plant that is more readily common than you would think, and it's another plant. I like Aralias. They're pretty easy to take care of. And then here is a Hedera helix, or a Hedera helix English ivy. This is the asterisk one. Notice how the leaf shape looks like an asterisk. It is a plant that I've never really seen until I started shopping at Lowe's. I love English ivy. I ended up buying a new English ivy that I will show you in a future video. So we'll see if I can keep it alive, or else I would have killed 15 English ivy in the last 2 years. So we'll see. But anyways, here is a Pilea Pan Am. Love the dark foliage in this Pilea Pan Am. Now, with any Pileas, they need to be watered a little bit more frequently. You want to keep the soil a little bit more damp and wet. And as I pan over here, just a bunch of other exotic angel starter plants. We've got a bunch of pothos, and then we've got hanging baskets right over here. This is a plant that I don't know the scientific or botany name. This one is a purple pleasure plant. It looks very velvety. At one point I thought it had spider mites, but it's just got very velvety texture on the leaves. It looks almost like an oak ivy. So for those that know what this the botany name is for this purple pleasure plant, let me know. And then also let me know what the care tips are. This is for $20.84 in a hanging basket. It looks like a plant that would be easily propagated, that you can easily propagate with just cuttings that you put in water. And then we've got a Chiflera moon drop here. I love this as well. This is another Chiflera though that stays a little bit more dwarf and compact. I've got another Chiflera that is a variegated that I'm actually growing to my surprise, in full sun outdoors, and it is not burning. So it's actually doing very well. I do like the Chiflera moon drop, since you know, I want some of a more of a smaller compact plant to grow indoors. And then we can see right over here, what else do we have? We got another Hydra Helix, or the Hedera Helix Bettina. I have this last one right here, this Hydra Helix Bettina, beautiful looking one. I like the texture of the leaves. I like how the leaves are a little bit wider, and it's got some really nice variegation as well. And then I'm going to pan over here and just show you a couple of more plants. So these are urban jungle and live trend plants. Here is another urban jungle silver band marantha. This one is for $14.98. So as you can see, silver band marantha is becoming a little bit more available at big box stores. I like that a lot, and that's the thing. Whenever you see plants that used to be like uncommon or super expensive at a big box store, it's always exciting to see that if you just wait a little bit longer, like a year or two, plant pricing will go down. Now this is just a classic coffee plant. I want to actually get a coffee plant. I love the leaves. I've loved that how it has like a natural shine to it. And then we've got some type of alocasia here. I'm not sure what particular alocasia this is. So if you are an alocasia fan or an expert, please leave me the alocasia plant ID. I do like how it's got more of a minty gray green tone about it, and I also like the veining of the leaves. I love the texture of it. It's got a very waxy feel about this alocasia. And again, with alocasias, they need higher humidity, they need to be in bright light, and they are susceptible to spider mites. So just make sure you are spraying your plants with some preventative neem oil. The pan over here, beautiful Dieffenbachia here. I love Dieffenbachia. I just don't grow them because I know that my lighting conditions are not the best for a Dieffenbachia, but that is an absolutely stunning plant. Really like the look of Dieffenbachia, and then as well as this fiddle fig leaf or Ficus lyrata here. Beautiful one by Costa Farms. These are readily available, and again, you have to also plan for the space for a Ficus lyrata, because eventually that plant can eventually get up to 20 feet tall. It can become a full-blown indoor tree. And then you can see here we've got some Osmocote. I need to get some Osmocote for my plants. Really good fertilizer. And then we've got another Calathea rospicta here for $14.97 or $15.97 in a self-watering planter. We've got a bunch of Dracaenas. Love that Dracaena, actually. I would love to add that Dracaena, even though it's a common one. I just don't really have the space for it. It is a low light tolerant plant. And then we've got an Epipremnum plesamum silver streak pothos, beautiful plant as well. And I was told by a plant foldy that this one can actually get bushy as compared to needing to climb. So I really like that fact about it. It is a plant that I would like to add to my collection. This one is for $19.98 Trending Tropicals Costa Farms plant. And then we have another Costa Farms Trending Tropical plant. This is a Calathea dotty. Love that dark foliage, love the dark purple tone about it, and it's just gorgeous. And then right over here we've got some more Trending Tropical plants. We've got some more Costa Farm plants. So one Costa Farm plant I did want to take a look at is this Paulownia watermelon. So plant foldies, let me know what you think. This one is for $16.98. I was almost tempted to buy it. This looks like a plant that would be easily that you could easily propagate from cuttings as well. Does anybody know what this plant is in terms of just like the care tips? I do love the look of it. It looks like an unconventional house plant, and that's the thing, plant foldies. I have been doing a lot of these plant shopping videos to show you more plants that are not typically sought after to be grown indoors, but this is a plant that I was really tempted to buy. And then this is another, I think this is a dragon's breath plant. I don't know the plant ID, the botany name for it, but it does have some beautiful purple undersides. And that's the thing about some of the plants I've shown you. I love plants that have multicolors, where it has like one leaf color on the top of the leaf, and then the bottom leaf has that. Typically Calatheas have that characteristic, and that's what makes them beautiful. And then over here we've got some beautiful purple passion pleasure plant. Sorry, purple pleasure plant. Again, here is another hanging basket. Apparently it's a collector's plant, so it might be an uncommon plant. Not really sure about the plant botany name. So for those that know about this plant, leave that in the comments. Let me know what the care tips are, if it is a rare or uncommon plant. And then this is just stunning here. And I remember running into an Calathea reginaea. I think Reginae, I think that's how you pronounce it. Look at how beautiful that leaf shape is. That silver is absolutely stunning. Now, the purple undersides as well, and the veining and texture. So lots going on with this particular Calathea. I love it. It's a plant that I need in my plant collection. It's another Calathea that I may end up buying, and this Lowe's actually has several of them. Now, these are all in trending tropical self-watering planters from Costa Farms. This would be the one I would pick to buy if I was going to buy one today. Now, this Calathea tends to be a little bit more thirsty than the typical Calathea, so you really don't want the soil to dry out completely. And that's the thing, guys. Plant foldies, I already know my watering habits, and I just know that I wouldn't be able to grow that plant long-term successfully because of it. And then over here, Genicrate compacta, Dracaena, very easy plant. That one doesn't need to be watered as often. But as I pan around here and show you all of these Calathea reginae, I think that's how you pronounce it. Let me know if you like that particular Calathea. I think it is absolutely stunning. It does need bright light, but look at this one right here. I love the leaf shape. You know, there's a lot of Calatheas that are coming out to the market, specifically variegated Calathea. But for me, I am more so interested in just even the regular varieties that are not variegated. I say that until I get a hold of a variegated Calathea. That would be so cool. I only have one variegated Calathea, and that is a variegated Calathea odora, and it's doing okay. I ended up repotting it. It's growing outside because I feel like if I'm struggling with a particular plant growing that indoors, if I grow it outdoors in a shaded area, it does way better, as in there's no pest on it. It grows faster. I can easily water it because I can just take a hose versus just growing plants indoors. But you can see that this is not a grow folds video unless I show you an Aglaonema red Siam. Just like me showing you coleus plants, I love Aglaonemas. I love Aglaonema red Siam. It is a basic plant for most people, but it is a plant that is easy to take care of. But check those Calatheas out here. This is so beautiful. I love it so much. So plant foldies, let me know what you think of this Lowe's location here. It is one that I often feature in a lot of my plant shopping videos. Just know that I will be premiering a lot of plant compilation marathons. So if you see a lot of videos that are scheduled to premiere in late June, that's just me preparing to have some content available for y'all. For those that did tune in for the 3.5-hour plant party on Monday, that was super exciting. And I really hope that you guys will be open to watching those video compilations when I go on vacation to the Philippines. I have some exciting new plant shopping videos. As always, plant foldies, please make sure you are hitting that like button for this video. I know I've mentioned it several times, but it really does help my plant shopping videos out, as well as commenting after a live premiere or after you've watched this video. You can actually comment all over the video and put timestamps on it. But I am just finishing up a couple of more of these plants. I do love this Pia tree plant. Was able to get one from Green Acres, a local plant nursery, the variegated form, for only $30, and it is a lot larger than this one. This one is for $5.97. Beautiful one as well. It's a cross between a Hydra helix and another Fatchadera. So really cool. And then this one right here is an Especia. Really like this as well. I actually want to get the neon green version of this Especia. Apparently it's similar to an African violet. I love the pink blooms. So I always found it interesting that, you know, Costa Farms Exotic Angels offers this plant. Typically you don't see flowering plants being offered as an indoor house plant, but this is one that's available for $20.98. So again, hanging baskets, all of these plants, you can find them at Lowe's. And I always find it interesting that, you know, Lowe's cycles out specific plants. I've been seeing a lot of marble queen pothos and snow queen pothos, so that might be what's in the cycle as well. But as you can see here, plant foldies, more exotic angel plants. I want to know what your favorite exotic angel plant is to grow from Costa Farms. But as you can see here, there's not quite a bit of restocks. I feel like some of these exotic angel plants have been sitting in this Lowe's for a while. Some of them already started to decline in health, but you can see that this is still a pretty full Lowe's location, and I love it. It's really close to where I am. So please make sure you are hitting that like button for me. Really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. I'll have another one tomorrow, which is going to be super exciting. As always, this is Richie at Grow Folds. Please subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.